Hey everyone, I hope that you're doing well. Today I'm going to be taking you through a journaling session that I did in my life log, or also known as kind of a memory keeping journal, which is currently in my A6 stalogy. And I thought today I would just bring you along for a kind of catch-up session that I did in my journal where I just was filling out a bunch of entries that I was a little behind on, to be honest. And yeah, I thought I'd just show you my kind of current journaling practice for recording all those really special moments. It's nothing complex or elaborate or even that fancy, but I think that it doesn't really need to be. And I just thought I'd show you what I like to do for filling out this notebook. So I'm going to be going in and filling out all of my entries today using one of my favorite fountain pens at the moment. This is a Kaweco Sport fountain pen with a broad nib. So it's really thick, but I really love using broad nibs because you can really see the color and the sheening and the qualities of the ink you're using. And the ink that I'm using today in this journaling session and the ink that I'm planning to use for all of January in my life log is a ink by J. Urban, and it's called Lait d'été. And I thought that was quite fitting considering my love of tea, that I would also use a fountain pen ink named after tea. So I kind of like that, but I also do really love the color of the ink, and as many of you may know, I really like writing in brown ink, so this guy is perfect for me. But besides the fountain pen, I will be using a printout from my Sora calendar, so I will be using a couple more supplies later on to add some things to my journal. But until then, what I'll be doing is I'll just be going in and updating the various days with the various highlights. So I think I fill out about 5 days in here, and one of the things I like to do when I'm a little behind on my journal entries and I haven't been keeping up with them every day is I like to break out my bullet journal and refer to my daily logs to kind of jog my memory around what I did that day. I will say that I feel like doing my journal entry for the day right after does have the most, accurate reflection, and I remember the most interesting bits that I want to put in because it just happened. But sometimes life gets busy and it's hard to keep track all the time. So, this is a daily practice. I'm hoping to write about all 365 days. So, it's okay if I miss a couple. Usually the most memorable days you keep in your mind for a long time anyway. So I find that usually I remember the things I want to write down, but referring to my planner / bullet journal really helps supplement that when I might be a little short on details. So that is why I have that second notebook right above my life log. And I'm just going in and writing some thoughts on the day. I know that people like to memory keep differently. For me, keeping it as simple and low effort as possible is really, really important for me. And the reason why I mostly write in my life logs and memory keepers is because for me, the actual memories and the things that I record in writing are the most valuable things to me. That and the photos. So writing things down in the photos, I'd say they're a pretty close tie, because I will say I do love being able to paste in random things from throughout the day that I find memorable. But in terms of the actual structure of this notebook, I do try to keep it very, very minimal decoration, very minimal kind of level of entry to record things. And that's just because for me, sometimes my life gets really busy and I want to be able to update this journal even when I have, a really chaotic week at work, or I have a lot of events going on, or anything else of that nature. So that's why I like to take a more simple approach with my life log. now that I've finished recording all of my daily entries and getting myself up to speed on the writing side, I am now going back and adding in any kind of ephemera or stuff that I want to include about the days. So before I write down anything, I do make sure I know how many pages I want to leave blank so that I know where I'm pasting stuff. So that left-hand page I left blank there beside the 15th of January entry was intentional because I knew that I wanted to include this printout of my Sora calendar. So I'm just pasting in a Sora calendar right now, but I will do this for any kind of tickets I want to paste in or photos or any other paper things like that if I do want to include those, just so that I can try as best as possible to have the ephemera beside the day that it happened on, just so that it has that kind of chronological order. But for this journaling session, I'm just going in and adding one of the cutouts for the 12th of January from my Sora calendar. So a little behind, but that's okay. I find for my Sora calendar, I'm not as worried about it because I do paste the actual QR code that has to do with the constellation on the page of the day of the entry. Hopefully that made sense. You'll see in a minute what I do exactly, but I do like to paste in the overall photo as well, just because I really love the illustrations. And previously I did do this in my bullet journal, but I moved it to this journal just so that all the kind of memory keeping day specific things were going together. So whenever I prepare my Sora calendar inserts to go into my journal, I essentially take the page and rip it up so that I can make sure the illustration is small enough to fit into my journal. And I usually just do this with a ruler, so it's really easy to fit in and I don't have to break out scissors and start cutting things. And it's just kind of like a time saver for me. And it's all about kind of efficiency when it comes to this journal, because sometimes I'm writing multiple days, so I just want to make it as easy as possible to get the stuff that I want to keep in there. So I've prepped the illustration. It now will fit in my journal, which is great, and I'm gonna eventually glue that in. And then I'm also going ahead and cutting out the QR code, and this is gonna go on the opposite page where I have my entry for the day of January 12th, which is where this constellation appeared. So I have my QR code cut out there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use my trusty old glue stick to glue everything in. I do have a tape runner. I have the Tombow mono adhesive, but I learned the hard way that it actually uses this like blue tint of adhesive, and the Sora calendar printouts are very thin, so you can actually see it through the page, which kind of bothered me. So that's why I'm using my really old, kind of dying glue stick, and I may invest in the Kakuno glue adhesive tape because that looks more clear, but we will see. I'm probably just gonna finish up this glue stick, and once it's done, then I'll figure out what kind of adhesive tape I want to buy next. So here's where I am turning the page now that I've glued down my image, and I'm putting that QR code right in the top hand corner of the page of the entry the actual day of the calendar falls on, which is January 12th. So I'm just putting it in the top hand corner of the right page and gluing it down and making sure the QR code is aligned properly. And that is kind of all that I ended up doing in this journal today. It's not very, I don't know, like complex or wild, but it gets the job done. I have all of my memories written down, all of those special little moments for the day, and I just did this journaling session during my lunch break at work, so it was a really nice way to kind of disconnect from the day, focus on doing something that I really enjoy, and just have that kind of time outside of my computer and my screen to really just decompress and relax and do some writing. So I really enjoyed this journaling session, and I really enjoyed taking you through it along with me. So that is kind of the end of this guide. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much to my patrons for supporting me, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake this.